Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning in from. We are back with episode 15 of the Vibe Online podcast, and it is myself, Karen, and Megan.
Hello, guys.
And we are here today to talk about different ways that you can invest into a business to get started, to make some money and get that freedom and just live life a little bit freer without having to worry about the bills. So obviously those who know us and have listened and followed our journey both know that me and Meg started this online business about a year and a half ago. And we came in within a couple of months of each other, really, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
we both started in very different ways. Meg was ready and she was in there and she had her credit sorted and she was on fire because she knew this business was going to give her
I wasn't hanging around. I
not at
wanted in
all.
and as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and that you certainly did, didn't you? So we'll cover my story in a second. So with you coming in there and then Meg, what were the different options that you looked at about getting started? And did you have also any fear about an investment into an online business as well?
Yeah, for sure. Like from someone that has never had any experience in business before, of course it was scary. It always is first off. I think for me, where I dove straight in, where that kind of came from was that burning desire to know that I wanted more, to also know that I was capable of more. I just didn't know how or where to get that from. So when I went through the process of, chatting to people within the community and speaking to our mentor Lisa, and her explaining to me what her story was, and feeling very welcome within the community, and also going through the training to understand more about money and how it all works and finances, because this kind of stuff we don't get taught in schools or even through our
Oh,
life, right?
I know, not at all.
All of a sudden there's bills and things to pay, and there's credit being thrown around everywhere and loans, and you're like, well, what the hell does all this mean?
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I've had always been against any kind of credit, any kind of loans. I grew up very much like in a family that we didn't have a lot, and money was also scarce. My beautiful dad and my mum are not very great at managing money, so there wasn't any kind of that financial intelligence or like that understanding around how to manage money or save money or anything like that. So it's quite in lack. So when I grew up, I was very much like looking after all of the pennies and knowing where I was spending my money and looking after it so that I could get through the month, and which I'm sure is very familiar for a lot of people that may be listening to this, because it may feel the same way that credit just absolutely terrifies you.
Yes.
The thing that changed for me was when I was saving for a mortgage. So it started before I came into this business. So I think that kind of helped me with the investment into the business, having gone through a similar situation before when I was buying my house.
Okay.
And the advisor had told me, you need to have a credit card, Megan. And I was like, what do you mean? I don't want any of that. I don't want any debts. It's like my biggest nightmare. And he was like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand how credit works. For you to be able to show a bank or a lender that you're a good repayer, you must build up a credit score. And
Yeah.
I had no idea about that before. So, and I was like, okay, I can manage it, just pay shopping on your credit card, show that you're paying it back, nothing was staying on there or anything like that. So you're just kind of building this, this history that you're a good payer backer and stuff like that. And this is what
Yeah.
I tell people as well when they come into uh, looking to start their business as well. And I tell them the same story, exactly what I went through. So I fully resonate with people that are fearful around building credit and getting credit cards and things like that, because I was totally there. But because I'd been through that and I got my mortgage and I did start to see my credit rating go higher and it was getting to a really good position, I was like, okay, this is great, because I didn't start with any credit.
Yeah.
So when it came to starting in the business, I could see exactly where this was taking me.
Yeah.
I absolutely saw it, and I had my vision, and I knew that it was going to offer me not just wealth for myself financially, also an investment into myself, my personal development, because the opportunity allows us to expand our minds and become a better person, but also generational wealth, like
Yes.
where it takes us down the line. And so I was like, wow, okay, how do I get started with this? Because if I don't start now, I'm going to be sitting on it and it's going to take me, I don't know how long, but why am I waiting for down the line for that time to be like, in inverted commas, ready, when actually let's just jump in and dive in now. So let me have a look at what my options are. So I went down the route of credit. I did get a credit card. I actually got 2 credit cards. I'm not afraid to tell people, because Michael, I couldn't get a full credit with how I wanted to get started, because I did want to get started the with the best possible way that I could.
Yeah,
That kind of gave me a good stead in my business. So I did do what I could with credit to allow me to come in at that position. But I do understand fully that not everyone can start that way. And that's kind of what we want to chat about today on the podcast as well, is
yeah,
there are so many ways to get started in your business. You know, if this is something that you want, you have drive, you have passion, you know, like myself, you see the vision, you want that generational wealth to be passed on to your children and the generations after, and you want to kind of break that cycle, which I'm fully here for, then there are definitely ways to get started in
yeah.
any financial position that you're in, any budget that you have. So how about yourself, Karen? Because, you know, you did just mention that we got started very differently, which we did.
We
So
did.
let's hear your story with the investment again.
Yeah, so I had a huge fear of investing and uh just basically spending money, and that was because I had such a lack mentality when it came to money. When I was young, obviously I would spend money willy-nilly and I would not really be bothered about getting into debt or anything like that. But what I did do back then was got myself into financial difficulty
Wow,
where,
so we really were the opposite.
yeah, yeah, the complete opposite. So I had lots of credit cards, store cards, all this kind of stuff racked up in my sort of late teens, early 20s. And then when I became a mum and got married and things started to change, that I was still kind of in a little bit of debt, but more manageable and more kind of understanding it. And then very similar to you, when we got our first house and first mortgage and everything like that, I understood money a little bit more, but never fully. And I
Mm,
always kind of struggled with, you have to have credit to get credit. I was
mm,
like, how does that work? And again, when it finally got explained to me, I was like, okay, so we have to have credit, be it credit cards or store cards or anything that will give mortgages, whatever that can give us a credit rating. And then we have to be seen to paying them back. So then again, I was like, oh, I'll just get a credit card. But I just kept spending and I didn't pay it back. And then again, eventually, like out of it all, then my divorce hit. And then I was like, I am never getting in debt again. I can't afford to get in debt. I'm on my wage now, which is not even enough like to live on and do anything extra. So I knew that for me to be able to survive, to pay my bills, put food on the table and look after myself and my children with the life that I was sort of accustomed to, which was nothing fancy. Don't get me wrong, it was completely just basic living, but it was enough where I didn't always have to count the pennies when I went to the supermarket, etc. That kind of thing. So when I was looking for something online, and then I obviously found this opportunity in this business and watched the blueprint and learned all about it, I was still very fearful of putting any money down. And that was even the introduction to getting joined up to see what the free trial was. However, I'm glad I did, because then I saw the blueprint. And as you've said already, Meg, the legacy income, because I've got children, and anybody else who has children, and you will have in the future, you and Mike will have your own beautiful family, that ultimately all you want is to be able to provide for them more than you've ever had in your life. So that was what got me. However, I still procrastinated on it because of my mindset, and it took me 6 months to get started. But then very much like you, that's where we were similar, where I wanted the best possible start. I saw the power of the business, I saw the power of the compensation plan. I saw that if I started this particular way, with one sale, I could bring in double to what I earn in my job right now. So to me, that was very, very powerful. And that's when my shift happened. And it's funny, I wrote a post on my social media just the other day talking about my rainy day fund. So obviously when I was got divorced and all this kind of stuff, and I didn't get a massive amount of money. However, I had a little bit of money put away And it was actually my partner Baz was like, well, what if this is your rainy day fund? Like, what if this is your opportunity? And I was like, do you know what? Like, what if my rainy day does never come? Then what if that opportunity never comes again? And the money's sat in the bank getting very minimal return. Whereas if I made 5 to 10 sales, I'd be hitting 25, 50K. So I was like, okay, so for minimal investment, I'm going to get a bloody good return on this. So I applied for credit cards, and like you, used 2 different ones and came in and got started. But what I've since learned is that, yes, we did start that way, and we were fortunate that we were able to get credit and get started on that level. But we bring people into this business every single day, and we are here to talk about the other opportunities that are available to you and how you can get started. Like, using a credit card is the best way you can start any business, as long as you can pay it back. And now what we don't ever want anybody to do is to get into a financial situation where they are in difficulty making repayments or even living their life. So there's lots of options. And we were just talking before this, Meg, weren't we, about like, the best way to get started, obviously, is using credit. But not everybody has that option to get credit. So we're going to chat about just another couple of options, and not to be fearful, thinking that you can never afford to invest and start in your own business, because everybody can.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what we're gonna share, all the ways that you can get started in your business. And we want people to know that, exactly like Karen just said, it's available to anyone for any budget, however that looks for you. And whether that's a credit route or whether that's another route, which is one that we'll touch on in a moment. It's also very important that people get an understanding of how finances work,
Yeah.
because I think that's where the fear comes from. It's a fear of the unknown, really, is what it is, because
Yeah.
it's a very taboo subject. We don't talk about money, which is why we like to address these kind of topics on our podcast, just to educate people and help people to understand that money isn't something to be afraid of. It's just when you understand it and you use it in the right way,
Yeah.
especially if you invest money into an asset like a business for yourself that is going to be yours forever. You're never going to lose this. You're going to be able to only make gains from this once you have your investment back, which is exactly what Karen just said, knowing that you can make a sale and get 4 grand, and anywhere between 300 and 4 grand per sale
Yeah.
plus, and then it goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
You know that you're going to be getting that return on investment pretty damn quickly. And also from there, it's profit onwards. You're not spending money on depreciating valued items like
Yeah.
cars, clothes, dinners, meals out, events, that kind of stuff, right? You're actually remember that you're putting this into a business that's going to be with you for life, that is going to support you, your family, and your future for the rest of time. And you're also investing into yourself. This is a huge part that I like to make people very aware of, is like, when you create a business, especially in the model that we use, this is about building you, not just building a business, not just building those finances, but this is like foundations for you and your family, mentally, physically, and financially, in all
Yeah.
of those ways. So when we talk about credit, we'll get credit out the way first, and then I'll talk about the other options, just because obviously it's a way that we both got started. So for me, yes, it's scary to get credit cards still, like, totally get that. We teach you and educate you on how finances work, which is incredible. So within the platform, you've got nothing to worry about, and we're all here to support you anyway and help you with any questions and things that you have. Also, any fears, like, don't be like Karen and sit on it for, how long was it?
Yeah, it's
8
six
months?
months, six
6
months
months?
here. Don't be a Karen.
Yeah, don't be a Karen. No one be a Karen. But don't do that, right? And same as Lisa, she sat in it for 18 months. But think about this: if this opportunity, just a slight tangent because we like them. Imagine if this opportunity wasn't there. Like, if you waited on it. I was listening to a podcast by Fraser Brooks, and he was saying, like you said, Karen, with the rainy day fund, or this the thought of, like, money doesn't grow on trees, so look after every single penny and hold on to it
Yeah.
and save it. And especially like in the UK and Europe, we have a mentality of save every penny that you have,
Yeah.
and like a fear of investing into something. And it's kind of like the odd way round, because like I just mentioned about investing into an asset that's going to pay you back for life, and okay, you've got a pot of money there, great, but what are you doing with that? If you invest it, then you're going to get a return on it. If it just sits there, then it's sitting there. And if an opportunity like this, so you may be listening to this and thinking about starting your own business, but you haven't spoken to one of us yet, if you haven't, then do reach out. We'd love to hear from you. But thinking about waiting for the right time to do this could come and go back around and miss you completely.
Yeah.
Like, if you're into this now and you have the opportunity to do this right now, start now. Like, I was straight in, both feet forward, and if I hadn't done that there and then, God knows where I would be now. I
Yeah.
probably would have let the fear like over control me, and I would have been like, no, and run away from it all, and still been in my freaking job and living a miserable lifestyle, and my mindset would have been crap, and I wouldn't have looked after myself. So that's just one point to make there. So with credit, essentially, they have incredible plans out there now. Like, when you actually look into this, and we've got tons of help, like I said, but I went for like a 0% interest on
Yeah.
purchases, which is the best way to go, guys. Think of this as like free money from the bank. So
Definitely.
0% interest, if you get a credit card, say it's over 12, 18, 24 months, you're getting that money from the bank, but you're not paying anything extra. You're not paying any interest on it whatsoever. You have a little repayment plan on your credit card, and within that time, that 18, 24 months, you're going to be returning your investment.
Yes, hugely.
So that's why that I thought that credit was and is the best way for you to go, because you're not only building your credit score, so that down the line, if you were to buy a house or anything like that, you already have that credit there for you and it's built up.
Yeah.
You're also not paying anything over and above what your monthly repayments are for your credit.
Yeah. And that's really important to address that. Like, go for the 0%. The 0%'s there. You can get 0% deals for like, I think mine was 24 months. Lisa was a couple of years, so you can afford to start a business. You're not getting hit with the crazy interest rates that are out there right now. You can be very careful, and you can be in control of it, of what you pay back. So you either pay back the minimum over the long period of time, and then when you start getting your investment back and you start making the sales and the commission is coming in, then you put that back straight into the credit card, and before you know it, it's completely paid off and clear. And then as you do that, your credit score will just do nothing but increase, which will then allow you to invest even more in the future into either the same business or other businesses, whatever it is that you choose to do. But one of the other options that people come in with is cash. Some people have cash sitting around, and that's absolutely perfectly fine. If you want to make a cash payment, you still start a business the exact same way. You still have the same business model, you still have the same commission, and you still run it alongside us in the community and build together that way. Doesn't build up your credit score as much, because obviously you're using money that you've already saved and you're not using the free money that the banks give you. But then there's like completely lost the train of thought. I just had that word at the tip of my tongue and it's gone.
I think that's a great point to make, though, because some people do have like a rainy day fund that they've kept in
Yeah.
savings, and they're like, when the time's right, I'm going to use this towards something, whatever it is. This is the right time for you to use it, which is fantastic if you have those kind of resources.
Yeah.
I've never been able to have too much of a savings because there's always been something happen.
Yeah. Partial payment. There we go. It's back.
There you go. Partial payment towards your business. Exactly. And it really depends on how much you have in there as well. And I think what ties in very nicely to this section about cash payments and savings is that we have a savings route. So it's really important to think about, where you guys are at, how you want to get started. If you have part payment, fantastic. If you have cash sitting in the bank, fantastic. But you do also have that savings route. So even if that
Yeah.
pot of money isn't enough for you to get started with your business, which I'm sure it will be because there's so many plans that we can use,
Yeah.
then you can use that alongside the savings route. But again, if you don't have that money and you can't get credit and you don't have any other means, we
Yeah.
have a savings route. If people are, you're driven, you're passionate, you want this, there are ways and means that you can support yourself, that you can work through our special section in our training platform, especially for people that are looking to save,
Yeah.
um, get their business off the ground, and then when they're ready, make that investment, and then they go full steam ahead.
Yeah. And what we don't want anybody coming into the business and feel that, well, I can't afford that they can never get started, because
Mm.
there's lots of different options for us all to look at, be it how you start your business, how that looks to you financially. Is that feasible? Is that feasible? Is that feasible? We run through all the options. As Meg says, we give you all the financial links to go and check for whatever credit you can get, whether you've got part savings or whether you just need a little bit of top up to pay for it, or whether you've got all the savings, or whether you're going all in credit cards. Some people come in and pay across 5 different credit cards. There's no right or wrong way to get started, as long as it's something that suits you and your financial situation. But we also understand what it's like to not be able to have any money to get started. So we have the other options. As Meg says, we'll work with you. We'll get a training plan. We will get a savings plan together and get all that organized and work along with you. And within the company as well, there's other options that we can tap into and see if it's something that will possibly work for you. So and Meg is very the same. Our value that we like to give to people and share is the fact that we're here to help every single person, however driven you are. If you want to start a business and you have that drive and that fire in your belly, and you have kids and a family, and you want to be able to provide for them and give them that legacy income, but the one thing that's stopping you right now is your current financial situation, work with us. We've done the courses, we've done the training, we've learned a hell of a lot in the last 18 months of how you can start businesses, how you can come in with all the different options, and how we can help to guide you now, because we have invested our time and energy and effort into understanding the financial backing of a business. And I think
Exactly.
don't ever have the fear of not being able to admit that. Never be too proud to just say, do you know what, I'd love to do this, but I haven't got the money right now. Be honest with us, speak to us. We're only here to help you, instead of don't ghost us.
Yeah, don't go, because you want this, and you'll be watching on the sidelines and thinking, "Oh, I really, really want it, but my financial position isn't in that place." Like, you have no idea what the options are until you open up communication and work with us. Because let's have a look at it. Let's lay it on the table. You want this. You want to build that financial legacy for yourself, for your children, for your family. Whether you want to travel, you want to explore,
Yeah.
or experience life before you start, settle down, have a family, whatever it is, and start building those foundations. So, you know, also don't feel pressured into anything, right? We're here to give you education and help you along the way and support you. We're not here to force you or put you out of your means at all. Like, that is the last thing that we want. Network
Yeah.
marketing is people's business. We are here to help people. We're human based. That's what we do. That's why we understand people's emotions and everything that we go through in life. And that's why we fully understand and respect people's positions when they're not in a financial situation where they can get started straight away. And that's totally fine. But if
Yeah.
you shut off and hide that from us when you truly do want this, then let's just chat about it. Let's open it up and stop all the taboo, hiding away, and get yourself started with a business that's going to pay you back. And you really are investing into yourself and your future. That's the truth of it. And the ethos behind the company that we work with, it couldn't be more true to
Yeah.
us and health, like, in any way. They quite literally, that's exactly why there's so many ways to get started on any budget, is because the ethos behind the company that we work with is to help ordinary people live extraordinary lives. And that's by helping them. It doesn't matter what position they're in. Think it's Japan, it's Asia. They're lesser well-off countries than what we are typically in
Yeah.
Europe and the UK. So there are always ways and means for people to get started, and live a really fulfilling life, especially with this business on hand.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want it, nothing changes until something changes. So you have to make a decision and decide what you want to do. Do you want the rest of your life to be the same as what it is now? Or do you want to make that change and look into a business and the return of investment you'll get? So completely up to you guys. We're here just to help provide information and support to get you started. And if you're listening here, or you're on the replay later on, listening to it, wherever you may be, or wherever you are, whether you follow our journey or if you've got us on social media, reach out to us. Our inboxes are always open, and we always try and share as much information as we possibly can to give you the best understanding of how you can start your business. And the fact that everybody has a different background to come from, so don't ever be fearful. You know, if you haven't got money, that's fine, it's okay. We can chat about things. If you feel like maybe you don't come from the right place, as some people do, to start an online business and be an entrepreneur, like, that's also okay. Let's have a chat about it. You know, we're here to help and support you. We understand how hard things are financially for everybody right now, and if we can help you help yourself and your family and your loved ones to generate some extra income, become the entrepreneur that you possibly maybe want to be, and have that business, then you do not be shy. Don't ghost us. Just speak to us. If you don't want to speak to us, speak to, there's hundreds of thousands of people in the community globally. So, you know, reach out to any single one of us. Every single entrepreneur on the planet will, I'm sure, gladly share some value.
Yeah, totally. And just think about it this way. Isn't that why you're here? To change that, to change your financial position. And like Karen said, nothing changes if nothing changes. So be open-minded to, like, let yourself explore what options are out there. Because I know certainly for me, I had no idea that I could get started the way I did, because I didn't know what my credit score was, or I've never looked into credit before, or any way to start a business. So you know, you really don't know until you start looking into this and having a chat with one of us and just exploring those options for yourself. But don't hide away in the background. Get yourself started with a business, guys, and just change your life,
Yeah,
because it really will. It will do that for you.
it really, really will. So I think that was the perfect point to finish on, Meg. Really good, guys. I hope you've taken some value from this, and, you know, had a little think and see what you want to do. And if you want to explore it more, you want to reach out to us, then feel free. But we look forward to hearing from you guys. Give us some feedback. You know, what else you want us to talk about on these podcasts? We'd love to hear your take on them. And if there's anything that we can share that will help you understand getting started online businesses even more than what we're already doing, then drop us a little message on that also.
Yeah, totally. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
But other than that, we wish you all the best. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you also feel like this might help someone else, then please do share it along. You know, we go off word of mouth, and that's how we're promoting this podcast. So we really hope that you find it valuable. And if you did, I'm sure someone else will do. So yeah, we wish you all the best, guys, and we will be catching you next week.
We will. So speak to you all very soon.
Take
Bye.
care.